What up, nerds? TJ and Scott here for the Raising Nerds podcast, talking about our favorite nerd topics and how raising little nerds of our own is better than the name Grogu. Grogu. Not Grogu. What? It's not Dragon Ball Z.
Not quite.
Well, it is. Raising our own nerds is still better than the name Grogu. Oh, how you doing today, Scott?
Fantastic.
Well, now we've both officially tested positive for COVID, which
Yep.
means we can move on with our lives.
Exactly.
Now we can quarantine with ourselves and with other people who are COVID positive, right?
Exactly. I mean, really, it's just a COVID party now.
Yeah, exactly. We all got it. Just stay away from people who haven't been tested positive, right?
Exactly.
Okay, not really. I mean, that's not exactly what you should do, but...
Not technically.
Not technically, but we're family. It's all good.
It's all good.
I don't know if we've actually talked about our relationship and how we're related to each
I don't
other.
think we have.
Yeah, so Scott's my brother-in-law.
Yep.
He married my sister.
Didn't
And I'm his brother-in-law. I'm related to his wife.
Yep.
By blood.
He's my wife's brother.
Yep, that's how that works.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh. So anyway, today we're doing chapter 13 of The Mandalorian,
Exactly.
which was that was an experience.
It certainly was.
So we both had Friday off work. It's the day after Thanksgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when did you watch it? Did you watch it right before you texted me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So when was that? It was like noon?
I think so.
Right around noon?
noon.
Okay. Well, your text was what finally put me over the edge.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
like, all right, that's it. We're watching it. We usually, like I said before, we usually wait until that night
Mm-hmm.
to watch it with our friends and do a Zoom meeting group watch thing.
Right.
But I couldn't wait.
Well, I was hoping when I texted, I was like, I hope he's not at work so that he can watch this right after he gets his text. If he hasn't
That's
yet.
exactly what I did too.
Oh,
So unfortunately, so Ladima wasn't able to watch right then. So when we watched with our friends later, I said, look, full disclosure, I've already watched it, but I will share with you what I was thinking at the time
right.
during the show.
Nice.
So I'm gonna pretend like it's my first time through. I'm just gonna repeat those things, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
That's funny because this is, I think, one of the first times I did watch it with my wife for the first time. Like,
Well,
we
yeah,
watched
you
it
usually
together.
watch it at work, right?
Yeah, and so she just watched me watch it.
Really?
Sort of, yeah. Well, I mean,
Wow.
I was kind of loud.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like random
Yeah.
squeals of enjoyment that I couldn't hold back.
All right. Now, also, so full disclosure for you guys, I've watched this multiple times. After the first time I watched it, I was gonna turn to Ben and say, "What did I say, Ben?" But when I got done watching it, I sat there and went, "I didn't like that.
Really?
I really did. That was my hot take. I did not like chapter 13 the first time I watched it. Now I've warmed up to it and I've gotten over my issues with it. But they all have to do with the number one thing we were looking forward to seeing. Oh, and that was Ahsoka Tano. If you haven't watched the episode yet, then I don't know why you're listening to this.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Chapter 13, titled Ahsoka Tano Returns, directed by Dave Filoni. Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually called The Jedi. But that's what it should have been called. It should have just been called Fine Here.
It should. You really should have. It was fun. I kind of guessed it, though. It was just before the title came up. I was like, how cool would it be if it was called The Jedi?
Are you
It
serious?
pops up, and I was like, oh, I got it.
See, luckily I hadn't been spoiled at all this time, not even the title. And so when I was sitting there, when I was watching it for the first time, I'm sitting there with my son Ben and my other kids, and I'm like, man, I hope they don't pull a Luke Skywalker from episode 7 and just have her show up at the very end of the episode and not say anything. That'd be so lame.
I was expecting that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, when I went in, I was like, she's going to show up at the end so that they can draw this out a little longer. Before we meet Ahsoka, they'll bring her out at the end.
20 seconds in.
So, yeah, 20
You're
seconds
like,
in. It's like, boom. I was like, okay, she's there. All
okay,
right.
well, that was quick.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah, in my notes I wrote, I hope they don't pull a holy crap. I think I texted you right when she came on the screen right after. I'm like, so. Well, that was fast.
That was a fast reveal.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, overall, did you like the episode?
Overall, yes, I did. But I did have issues with it, too.
Did you?
Yes.
Ooh. This is going to be a spicy one.
And they center around Ahsoka Tano. My issues that I have.
I wonder if we have similar issues with the episode. I've watched it again. I've watched it multiple times, and I've tried. You really have to. I had to end up disconnecting Clone Wars and Rebels Ahsoka from this Ahsoka.
You have to.
I had to look at it as if I was seeing this character, and I didn't know who she was.
That one.
I had to look at it that way because there were a lot of things that didn't tie together for me.
Right.
Oh, all right. Well, let's jump into it. Opening fight scene. What'd you think?
I loved the fight scene. I thought it was so cool. Just that I was talking to my wife about it. The mist and the lightsabers turning off and on, and it's like she's just anywhere. And
that was so cool.
It was so cool because she was just like, Teddy even pointed out, she's like, the bad thing about lightsabers is that they definitely tell the person exactly where you're at.
Oh, yeah, no,
so 100%. I said, so conversely, it's terrifying when all of a sudden the lightsabers are gone and you were shooting where they were and there's nothing. You're like, she could be anywhere.
Yep. That was something interesting from episode 1 is when they open the doors and the gas is in there. And all of a sudden the lightsabers ignite. It's like, well, so much for the sneak attack on the droids.
Yep, well, there they are.
Oh, here we go.
Uh-huh. So, I mean, but the fight itself was so cool.
I was a little surprised at how violent she was being against those guys.
Yeah.
That she was just going all through them,
Yeah.
But I did notice a couple of things on later watches, is that she probably would have gone in and taken out everybody. She probably would have taken the city right then.
Right.
But the magistrate was standing there waiting for her. She's defended. She's got all her guys, her droids. And then she pulls the civilian out.
Yeah.
And it's after she does that Ahsoka says, you have a day.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to figure out what she can do to try to free the civilians and take out the guards at the same time.
Right. Trying to avoid those casualties.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't think any of us had any doubt that... Could Ahsoka take that entire city by herself?
Easy.
Yes. We know she can.
Yeah, easy.
But she can't take the city and save the villagers at the same time.
No.
And we see that come to fruition later, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was like watching a horror movie, that opening battle.
Yeah.
Like, if you were the other guys, if you were the soldier dudes, oh my gosh, it's like, no, you are going to die.
I mean, there's times in the Clone Wars when the droids, they see Anakin, they're just like, okay, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm not getting out of this.
Have you ever killed a Jedi? No. Have you? No. It's like, no one has. Because in the words of Anakin, you can't kill a Jedi.
Exactly.
At least not when it's Ahsoka Tano.
Nope.
And if Dave Filoni has any say in it.
Exactly.
Okay, first thing I didn't like, she allows herself to be called a Jedi. At the very beginning. Show yourself, Jedi, the magistrate says. And she goes...
I was waiting for her to say her line from
waiting
Rebels.
for that.
Yeah, that I was too.
What is the line from Rebels?
I am no Jedi.
Yeah, you wanted it to be there. I did listen to another podcast and they talked about how she has come to the idea that even though she is not part of the Jedi Order, she embodies what the Jedi should be.
Okay.
And they said maybe she's accepted that and that's why she allows herself to be called a Jedi.
I can get behind that.
And I'm like, gosh, that's a lot to overcome in one episode.
Yeah, it's kind of a big hurdle, but...
It's a lot, because we're all sitting there like, but that's not... she's not a Jedi.
She's not, but... maybe...
Alright. Alright. She says the magistrate knows what she wants, but we don't know what she wants.
No, we do not.
It's information of some kind. I thought she was hunting Gideon, too.
Yeah?
Because everybody's hunting Gideon.
Everyone's hunting him. the big bad guy.
Until this episode, I truly believed that Ahsoka and Gideon were going to fight with lightsabers.
Huh.
I do not think so anymore. I think Ahsoka's done.
You know,
in the Mandalorian.
I think she might be as well.
Yeah, I did not expect that. I thought for sure she was going to join them.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season.
Thought that would be cool.
But it seems like these characters are one-off cameos.
It's
like
we've seen that before.
Bo-Katan will probably come back.
I think we might see Bo-Katan. I'm hoping to see Boba again.
Oh gosh, me too. Yeah.
Again, it might just be he's alive, and that's all you needed.
Yeah, which, to be honest, is pretty cool.
It is true. That's very true.
And whether or not we get his backstory is like, I kind of want it, but I'm kind of okay to wait.
Yeah.
I'm okay to let it stew for a while before we figure out how
they're testing to see if they... Because has there been any talk of like an Ahsoka TV show spinoff?
Another Rebels with Ezra.
Is there?
Yeah, bringing Ezra back and Thrawn and doing like a Rebels, but I think it was animated.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine either way.
Just curious
at this point
if they're going to try and do stuff with Rosario Dawson that plays Ahsoka.
You would like her to come back for it.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to see that. But.
I mean, I do love Ashley Eckstein.
I know.
Her voice is Ahsoka.
I wanted her to dub it.
That would have been
I wanted her to dub it so bad.
Give her something.
Because that was another part, too, is Rosario Dawson's voice. Sorry, everybody. Rosario Dawson is the one who plays Ahsoka.
Yes.
She does not sound like Ahsoka from Clone Wars and Rebels at all.
No.
And I have issues. I did see a meme today that warmed me up a little more to Ahsoka. It says you can't have a problem with this, and it shows Ahsoka from Rebels and Rosario Dawson.
Uh-huh.
And then if you can't have a problem with this if you don't have a problem with this, and it shows Count Dooku, and then Christopher Lee from the Clone Wars. I was like, oh wow, that is very stylized.
Yeah.
That's not even close.
That is true. That's very true.
But we accept it. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I see them both as legitimate Count Dooku. Although I do love Clone Wars Dooku in his exquisite pajamas when he's attacked by the Night Sisters.
In Battlefront 2, the game
Battlefront 2 getting
has a costume of him in his pajamas.
Exquisite pajamas, yes. Yeah. So great.
So cool.
All right. So she gets there. She allows herself to be called a Jedi. Did you know who her second in command, the Magistrate's second in command is?
No.
The actor?
No.
He is Kyle Reese from the original Terminator movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's the father of John Connor. Huh. It's an interesting spoiler for that movie if you've seen it. We have a ton of edited movies that my mom picked up, and so we borrow them occasionally. And one of them was Terminator, and my oldest son and I, Ben, we just watched through the first 3 Terminators.
Nice.
In rapid succession. It was pretty fun. Anyway.
Yeah, I knew he was probably a well-known actor, but I didn't recognize him.
He's not super well-known. I don't know much else that he's done, but he's in there, and he's done stuff. It's pretty good. Right. I know he's been in a few other movies as well. But, all right, so then we go into the Mandalorian, into his ship, and he says, all right, we're starting the landing sequence. Get in your seat. And Baby Yoda just kind of sits there.
Yes, he does.
And he says, what'd I tell you? Back in your seat. But then he does it.
He does.
And he does it all by himself.
It's adorable. Really.
His little crawl over to his seat and getting in and stuff. I'm like, oh. That was gorgeous. Although I did notice one edit point where they must have had a hard time animating. And that's when he gets up on the seat, but then he has to swing his legs out in front of him to sit down. Uh-huh. Right then, Mandalorian's arm reaches forward and covers up the bottom half of his body while he does that. And I'm like, I kind of see through that. I see you trying to hide the animation because you couldn't quite get it right.
Not quite. Well, I mean, if it works.
Oh, no, they have to do that all the time with Baby Yoda. They're having to cover up the puppetry, having to... put him down and pick him up in different places. So.
Funny, it reminds me, I saw a picture of IG-11 pulling off the helmet, and it shows the dude in the back with pulling off Mando's helmet.
Right.
There's no way he could have pulled it off. Like
there's no way.
It shows a dude hanging over who's actually the one pulling the helmet off.
Right. They've got IG's hand attached to it, and they're trying to match the movement.
But it's like, I see.
Yeah, well, they got to make things work, and that's totally fine. It's just something a little silly that I noticed.
That's funny.
So Baby Yoda is obsessed with that little ball on the end of that stick.
Ship, yes.
Man, do your kids have stuff that they're obsessed with?
Yeah. Right now it's the Christmas tree. The ornaments.
Oh, yeah?
They can't keep their hands off the ornaments.
You know, our kids have actually been pretty good throughout the years.
Have they?
Yeah.
Good.
We've never had to put the tree in a playpen or keep the kids in a playpen for the most part. I mean, anything you put low, you just got to be prepared to lose it, and it's just stuff.
That's true.
For the most part.
They like to get into my wife's earrings.
Oh.
They can climb on the bed, and they're just above the nightstand,
and just pull the jewelry out.
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
One of them is obsessed with bags and putting things in bags. So anything that can fit in a container, she puts everything she possibly can in it, and it's usually random stuff. Like a stuffed animal, earring, graham cracker, an ornament. Okay. It's just everything. And then there's just bags everywhere. It's really funny, actually, after a while, because she's just anything she can. She just stuffs it all in there and hides it in places in the house so that the youngest doesn't get it.
Oh, really? Yeah. So it's a.
She's storing it and keeping it safe.
My oldest daughter does that.
Yeah.
She hoards stuff and hides stuff in her room, except in her case, it's always food. We cleaned out the room a little while ago and found some food that wasn't there. Or what am I trying to say? Some food that had been there from last year, maybe.
But not there anymore.
But not completely there anymore.
I see.
But that explained all the fruit flies.
That would make sense.
Oh, it was pretty gross. So we had to have a talk with her, and it's not like we have a hard time with food. We have plenty of food. She just for some reason she does that. So I get where you're coming from. It's funny how kids can totally get obsessed with little things.
Yeah, they do.
That's funny. But all right, so then we go on, and we're into our creature feature.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the big four-legged things. So a couple interesting facts. I thought that they were giant blurgs. I thought they were two-legged blurgs because their legs are so spindly. They kind of mix into the trees at first. It's not until he looks through the macro binoculars that I could see that they were four-legged.
Right.
Had big old tails and big flat heads, a little bit like a dewback.
Right.
And the other fun thing is that they don't normally live in a burned forest. That's not normal. And in the usual fashion of my creature features, that's pretty much it.
Well, that's pretty much all we know.
We have no name. We have nothing about these creatures. And I think we talked about this in one of our other episodes when it was like they name things too quickly.
Yes, they don't allow the fans to name.
And here we go. We have no name for these creatures.
There it is.
Huh. Sweet.
So
well, there you go, guys.
Maybe they're listening to us.
Maybe Jon Favreau doesn't care that much what they're called.
Yeah.
And so he didn't come up with a name for them.
It's like, look, they're going to be in the background.
They're in the background. It doesn't matter.
People can come up with whatever it's called.
Well, we'll come up with it later. It's like, no, we can't come up with it later. It's like, yes, we can. Bosk did not have a name when Empire Strikes Back came out.
No, he didn't.
He was Lizard Man.
Yep.
Wearing Doctor Who spaceship outfit.
Exactly.
That's who he was.
Yep.
It's totally fine. So that's all we have on the creatures today. Oh, all right. Mando sees Baby Yoda come out of the ship with the little ball and reprimands him.
Yeah.
And I could hear myself telling my kids, these are inside toys.
Yeah.
Don't take that outside. That's an inside toy.
It's an inside toy.
Oh. So when he goes up to the place, were you worried about him giving away his purpose?
For a little bit. I was worried, because like we have established that these are the bad guys, and he's going to talk to the bad guys. Like, hope he doesn't reveal anything. I'm not sure how he's going to get around it. I'm curious to see how he's going to get around, getting information without, showing his hand. So a little bit, but not too concerned, because I felt like he was smarter than that.
Yeah, I think it might be something he's gotten smarter with over time.
Yeah.
Because every once, in the last few episodes, he's just walked up and told people, hey, I'm supposed to deliver this thing to its own kind.
Well, and
hey, I'm looking for Mandalorians.
He almost did spoil it when he talked to the villager.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he was going to just straight up ask, I'm looking for Ahsoka
I'm looking
Tano.
For a Jedi. Do you know where I can find a Jedi?
So being cut off definitely played to his advantage.
Yeah, it did. But he wasn't going to tell the authorities, and I wonder if that's what it is. He doesn't care if normal people know what he's doing, but he doesn't want authorities to be able to track him. He has problems with the New Republic, with the Empire, with everybody.
Which is, I gotta put in the we'll talk about the episode later, but
the
one when he has to transfer his pin.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, it's not working. And okay, you have to come with us. She's like, oh, wait. And he just
here
the
it is.
There it is.
He purposely wasn't doing it.
It was like he has an issue with...
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that, because that whole exchange was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we learn a lot about Mando in that moment.
So too, yes. But,
yeah, it's pretty awesome. So he hides his purpose from Kyle Reese. I don't know what the guy's name is. Right. Not even sure we hear it.
The general.
Yeah, from the second in command dude.
Yes.
And the guy says, "You're a hunter?" Yep.
Yeah.
Guild?
Last I checked.
When was the last time he checked?
Probably the last time he was a member of the guild.
Yeah.
I think that's the last time he checked.
Yeah, I don't think he checked after he blew up Navarro and killed half the guild.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think he went back and said, "I wonder if I'm still part of the guild."
Am I still in the guild?
No, I'm not.
Check his membership status. The guild.
Last I checked. It's a clever way to say it, because it's not lying outright.
No.
But it's definitely not answering the question completely either.
Exactly.
But it's enough. It's a very, very fine line that he walks with stretching the truth.
Obviously enough for them to be like, all right.
Yeah,
come in.
Yeah, they have a problem. They're not scrutinizing people nearly as much. Mm-hmm. But then he does the exact same thing with the magistrate too.
Yeah.
Where he says, she says, "You can have the spear if you kill the Jedi." He says, "Where can I find the Jedi?"
Exactly.
He never says, "Okay, I'll take the job," which he always does in every other experience.
So clever, though, because he's finding out all the information he needs without
from their enemy
any information.
From his enemy. It's insane. It's really smart. And I think he's had to learn that, because with Gor Koresh, nailed it. Gor Koresh, he just walked in, is like, "I'm looking for Mandalorians. I hear you can find them for me." He's like, "Yep, I can definitely tell you where they are. They're in the ground where I put them after harvesting their shiny shells."
And I think he's actually, the episodes that we've seen, he's sick of being double-crossed. He's sick of, I can help you. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, never mind, we're here for your armor.
The stinking Quarrens.
Yes.
I hate the Quarrens.
Exactly, where it's like, this is... He's getting sick of it.
Jaren, we're doing our podcast, buddy. You need to be quiet. Yeah, what about the quarantine? No, quarantines are teenage Quarrens.
Yeah.
And we don't like them at all.
No, we do not.
Just like regular quarantine.
Yeah, but so I think
he started getting betrayed.
You know what? I'm just gonna keep everything in. I'm gonna only divulge information that I absolutely have to, and I'll just see if I can get answers otherwise. And it worked out really well for him in this one.
Yeah. I think it's the smart tactic to take, no matter where you are. Oh, just as a quick aside, I wrote this down because when I yelled down to my kids earlier today, this is kind of my nerd dad moment, is I yelled down, "Ben, Jaren, get up here!" And I was listening to The Mandalorian at the same time, and right after I said that, they said, "Din Djarin." And I'm like, Ben Jaren, Din Djarin, oh my goodness!
Nice.
It's a Mandalorian.
That's exactly how. That's how I come up with Star Wars names. Is I slur words together. I slur names. Like my Star Wars name is Tajeric Rye.
Right.
And it's when you say Todd Jared Wright really fast. Todd Jared Wright. Tajeric Rye. It's like it's just an evolution, which is pretty fun to do.
There you go.
So I was like, oh my gosh, Star Wars did it to me again.
There it is.
I am living in. Oh goodness, what's the show? Well, it's the guy in the dome, and everybody watches him all day. The Truman Show.
Truman Show.
Why was that so hard? I live in the Truman Show, and they stole my oldest children's names for the name of the Mandalorian.
Yep, they did. That makes sense. My proud dad moment was my girls actually were fighting with lightsabers. My lightsabers.
Yeah? Oh, your nice ones, your ultra sabers.
Nice ones. Ultra sabers.
That is so awesome.
Fighting each other. It was really. I just kind of watched them as they just fought each other. It was a beautiful moment.
Oh goodness, that is great. I actually had a bad nerd dad moment as well though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my youngest son Carter keeps calling R2D2 BB-8.
Oh.
And that is a sin with which I will not put up.
Yeah, that's...
And I told him, that's it. You are not allowed to watch any other shows until you sit down and watch all the prequels and original trilogy
you need to get R2
all together until you can tell me who R2D2 is and tell me the different colors of R2D2. Because that is ridiculous. You do not mistake R2, the beloved droid, for BB-8.
BB-8, yeah.
I mean, BB-8's great and all, but he's no R2.
No. I had one of my daughters, as we watched Mandalorian, she watched it with us, and every time, Baby Yoda, it's Baby Yoda. She's just, I was like, yes, she knows who that is.
Oh, that is such a proud moment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about whether or not she calls him Baby Yoda still a little bit later.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. All right, so he hides his purpose. He gets his thing. Ooh, what'd you think of the prisoner cages out in front of the magistrate's palace?
I gotta say, they reminded me a lot of Knights of the Old Republic.
Really?
There are cages like that in the Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh.
So when I saw those, I thought...
Filoni coming in clutch again.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot of the cells that there are people in the game who are in cells like that, although they're more electrified, not so much metal. It's more just electrical.
Oh, okay, just the power.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
I was like, hey, that reminded me of that. So
Oh,
that
man.
was fun.
That's a fun little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Man, I really ought to play those games.
Yeah, I mean, once you get through the graphics, just accept the graphics for what they are.
Oh, goodness, yeah. I the old Jedi Knight one that they had for free on the Xbox.
Oh, Jedi Outcast?
Yeah, I'm like...
Yeah, I tried that one too. That one's hard.
Even Clone Commando, I had a hard time.
Oh man, yeah, it's
like, oh yeah, there's a reason why we like new games.
Yeah.
Graphics are a thing.
Yeah. But great story though.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, cages were cool. I liked how they shocked and you could see the skeletons.
Yeah.
When they shocked him, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
We don't see that too often, but it makes sense that kind of stuff would exist because we've seen that with Vader when he gets shocked by the Emperor.
Yep.
So it's kind of fun to see little tidbits like that come back. So when the doors open and you saw the beautiful landscape inside the dictatorial palace, what were you thinking?
Well, I told my wife when I read that, I was like, it's interesting. You can usually tell what kind of a ruler someone is based on the outside of the walls and the inside of the walls.
Yeah.
The outside, it showed just how poverty-stricken it is. They have nothing, and you go in, and she has this beautiful
lush garden and a pool with fish inside and everything.
So the first thing I thought was, okay, well, this shows that she has, at least from what I'm seeing, it looks like she has more care of the stuff that she has and less care of the people of the town.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. If you can tell a lot about a ruler based on their stuff versus the people's stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I mean, we had a little bit of clues beforehand with Ahsoka talking to her as the people already suffer under your rule. Mm-hmm. But we hadn't really, I mean, we still wonder a little bit.
Yeah.
But that just confirmed it. However, I was not surprised at all when the doors opened and it was this beautiful, lush garden. I'm like, no, I pretty much expected that.
Yeah.
She burns down the forest of the people right outside the gate.
Yeah.
And then just has this beautiful garden. It's like, not surprised whatsoever. She is the standard bad guy. She had an interesting backstory.
She did.
Losing everybody in her whole planet during the Clone Wars and then joining the Empire.
Yeah, interesting.
So it makes me wonder if the Separatists destroyed her home. She joined the Republic becomes the Empire, and now she's free to inflict her will on other people.
That's possible.
Through her pain.
Yeah.
I always like to think, she was a Separatist, but the Separatists lost the war.
They did.
So she might have been on the good guy side at the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is scary to think about, like Tarkin.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that guy.
Very interesting to see him, though. And you see his ideals, right? Interesting.
So, Mandalorian goes in and she says, I want to hire you for a job, Hunter. And he says, my price is high.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't want to do the job. He doesn't know what the job is yet necessarily, but after she tells him it's a Jedi that's plaguing me, she's like, my price is really high.
Yeah.
And she says, see this spear? He's like, it's pure Beskar.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Were you surprised at how simple the spear was?
A little bit.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking of Captain Phasma's spear, that would telescope out or something.
Yeah.
But no, it's just a solid hunk of Beskar.
Yep, just shaped, I guess.
It's got the little spade end on it.
Yeah.
Very simple. It's a very simple weapon, but deadly in the right hands.
Yep.
Wasn't super impressed with it at first, but
yeah.
I wanted to see what happened. We had this discussion of whether or not Beskar was lightsaber proof.
Yes, we did.
I think that was answered pretty definitively in this episode.
It was. Yes, it was.
So, she brings up that the Jedi are ancient enemies of Mandalore.
Yes.
Obviously, Din Djarin doesn't care that much about that anymore. When you're in hiding and your people are being slaughtered, you don't really care about past alliances or past beefs. You really take advantage of anybody who will help you.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
So, at least that was my perspective on that. Mm-hmm. So, the next part that I had written down is when they walk out the gate and Kyle Reese turns to the guy and goes, what is that thing?
Yeah.
And I loved the look Baby Yoda gave him. It was like, It's like, what do you mean, thing?
Yeah.
What'd you think of his answer?
Amazing. Like, again, it was the way that he can completely hide everything that he's doing.
Yeah.
And still sound awesome. It's like, I keep it around for luck.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
For luck? That's not exactly easy to keep around.
Exactly. And so it was just like, and it completely, the guy's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, you're going to need luck where you're going.
Yeah.
But, Baby Yoda's smaller than I think. He's much tinier than I keep thinking, because we have one of the stuffed ones.
Right.
And he's pretty decent sized. Like, a full creature that big would actually be pretty heavy, 20 pounds or so. But Baby Yoda, he's like 10 pounds maybe.
Oh, yeah. He's
probably less than that.
He's just tiny.
I always forget how small he is.
Yeah.
All right. So then we get the awesome fight between...
Did you see the owl?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
My son pointed it out to me. I was kind of getting distracted by stuff and still trying to be a dad.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, Dad, did you see the owl? I'm like, what? He's like, there's an owl. I'm like, oh, where? He's like, right there on the branch.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, I think I see it. I had missed it.
Yeah, very subtle. I mean, we didn't really... that's all we saw.
It didn't stick around.
It stayed on the branch.
Yeah. But it was there, and that's kind of the Ahsoka little tie-in for people who haven't seen Rebels or Clone Wars. The owl there's an owl that kind of follows her around.
Yes.
And my understanding is in the cartoons, and like Rebels specifically, that it's actually the embodiment of the sister from the Mortis trilogy.
It actually is the sister. When they go to Mortis, she takes that form as an owl. And
then one of those owls follows her around when she becomes Fulcrum.
Yep.
Ooh.
So it's really cool to see.
That is cool. Little bit of ties together, but not completely.
Yep.
Not completely.
Just more of like a nod to, oh, hey. It's one of those, you recognize it if you know what it is. Which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yes, then we get the fight.
And prove once and for all that Beskar is lightsaber proof.
Beskar is lightsaber proof.
Oh my heck. He just totally stops the blades with
he does.
His forearm gauntlets. Just burn! It's like, oh my gosh, I'd be so terrified if that was me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But then he whips out his flamethrower, which is non-lethal, right? He doesn't pull his blaster out and shoots her right away.
No.
He flamethrowers her to get some distance.
Right.
And then as soon as he gets a little bit farther away, he does the cable that wraps around her, and I was geeking out because I'm like, oh, that's one of the coolest parts of Return of the Jedi is when Boba Fett just cables him and woo woo.
And we see it we see it there. We see it in Rebels. Sabine does it to Kanan Jarrus.
Oh, that's
cables
right.
Him with it's more of like an electric looking cable. It's not just a cable.
Oh,
it's
right.
Yellow.
Yeah.
But we see it and then here it is again. It's like this is obviously a weapon that the Mandalorians
developed to fight the Jedi. And this was actually the one part when rewatching it that helped me feel a little better about Ahsoka. Is because her fighting has to be a little more muted in live action. Because if you watch her, she is hyper energetic in the show.
Yes.
And it's just like constantly moving in these crazy huge swings and moves, which a real person can't really do.
No, which was one of the, as I was kind of watching it, it was one of the problems I started to have with it. And I was like, the Ahsoka moves much more than that. But I came to the realization, it's like, we're transferring a cartoon to a live action.
Yeah.
There's no way you could get them to jump as much as Ahsoka does in the cartoons.
No. But she does go up over the branch with the cable on her.
Yes.
And that flip, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Okay. Here she is. It's okay, TJ. You can feel the way you feel, TJ. Exactly. It's okay. We're not gonna nail Ahsoka perfectly with Rosario Dawson. She's just not Ashley Escatine.
No, and I did love Ahsoka Tano. I had my issues with her, but I thought she was amazing.
She did do a great job. So luckily Mando is able to get off a word.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And is able to call her by name. Ahsoka Tano. I even thought he said it a little weird.
Yeah.
Because it's like, of course he's never heard the name before.
Exactly. He's heard it once by Bo-Katan.
Yeah, and that's it. And then he's just had to remember it for 4 days.
Yeah.
So Bo-Katan sent me. And she says, I hope it's about him. It's like, yay! And then everybody gets the moments they've been waiting for, which is Ahsoka hanging out with Baby Yoda.
Yes.
We all wanted it.
We did. There was tons of concept art for it before The Mandalorian came out of her holding Baby Yoda.
Oh, yeah.
The
People
picture.
were constantly making their own pictures of it. There were tons of people with Lego characters with Ahsoka and Baby Yoda. It's just like, it just never ended.
Right.
As soon as we heard that Rosario Dawson was going to be in it, it's like, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
This is what we want. And unfortunately, that might be all we get, guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is true.
But I think it's good if that's all we get. We'll get to that later. So, Mando has to sit and pace a little ways off while Ahsoka and Baby Yoda, Grogu, communicate through the Force.
Yes.
Was that communication cool? Did you
so.
think that's what they were doing?
I felt like something was happening. I wasn't sure exactly if they were communicating or not, but I knew that something was going on between the two of them.
I didn't think it would be nearly as specific as it was.
That's true.
I thought it would be a lot more vague.
Yeah.
Like him communicating feelings through the Force, not nearly like
sentences.
Sentences. His name.
If anything, their communication to each other was like, Grogu, Baby Yoda, is way smarter than I thought he was.
He is.
It's like he has a lot of intelligence.
It makes you wonder why he's not using that all the time, like with the wires. Like, what's the deal? And it could be that it could just be that he is actually very young, in maturity, and like we talked about during that episode, is crossing the wires and stuff is like kids only hear the last word you say. Exactly. They don't necessarily follow your logic.
Which, I mean, he might still be a kid, but because of the Force, they're just able to understand each other so well.
Yeah, that has to be part of it.
It's how he's able to, at least know his name, because I'm like, that's crazy.
Do you like his name?
I do. I like his name. At first, I was kind of like, but nothing beats Baby Yoda.
No, it doesn't.
But they can't call him Baby Yoda.
No.
So I was like, this is a good substitute. I'm okay with this.
Can you imagine on set, like the first time Rosario Dawson sees him and she's like, well, this would be a good time for me to just say Baby Yoda at one point. It's like, oh, I hope it's about him. He looks like a little Baby Yoda. So then everybody freaks out.
That would have been so funny.
I think it would be great.
That would have been awesome.
Oh my gosh, he's like a little Baby Yoda. Like, baby what? It's like, oh, it's the name of a Jedi Master that I once knew.
Yeah.
It's the only other creature I've seen like this.
Yeah.
But that line works a little bit better later.
Yes,
to say I've only known one other creature like this. And I heard somebody say, well, what about Yaddle? And I'm like, Ahsoka was a little kid
Ahsoka didn't know
when
Yaddle.
Yaddle left.
Yeah.
Like, Ahsoka is at least 10, 15 years younger than Anakin, and Anakin was only 10 during Episode 1 when Yaddle's there. So, no, Ahsoka could have not ever met Yaddle.
That was never...
No, be quiet. I'm talking about Yoda.
Exactly.
And Baby Yoda, whose name is Grogu.
Grogu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I think what really sold me on it was his reaction to it.
Oh, yes.
Is Mando says Grogu, and Baby Yoda goes, huh?
Yeah,
and it's like
my name.
It's like, oh. And immediately it gets me over that hurdle of Grogu.
Yeah.
Goo.
What kind of name is that?
What kind of name? It immediately got me over that. It's like, he responds to that.
Oh, that's his name.
Oh, okay. And it's like, oh, dang it. Oh, they got me.
Yeah.
And then he says it again, and he does the exact same thing. Like,
look like,
oh, yes. Like a little dog when it hears its name.
Oh, that's
it's
my
like,
name.
Oh, that's me. Oh,
yeah.
Here.
What did you think of his kind of Grogu's backstory? We got a little glimpse into his backstory.
I wonder if Ahsoka actually met him once. But she would have been young too.
Yeah.
So if you picture Baby Yoda, Grogu, being like 2.5 years old, when Ahsoka was taken from her family, she was younger than that.
Yeah.
Or around that age. And so when she went to the very first classes at the Jedi Temple, if she would have been in the same class with him.
That's possible.
Because he was trained by many different masters.
Yeah.
But I imagine that he probably doesn't develop as quickly. So he stays in that young class. Ahsoka probably wouldn't have remembered him.
Yeah.
Because we don't remember things from when we're 2.
Exactly.
But it's possible that they could have been in the same class together, which somebody has to do some art with that, right?
I would hope so.
You've got to have like a Jedi little school with desks and stuff, like from the other episode.
I've seen pictures of Grogu with the youngling outfits and the youngling helmet that we see.
Oh my gosh, really? Oh.
Yeah, it shows him wearing one.
I've seen him photoshopped into the scene with Anakin. I saw another one where it was Anakin when he's sitting in Padme's room and he's got that little device and it shows the screen and it shows it like an iPhone and it says Grogu as the name of the person that he's messaging and it says, "Don't go to the Jedi Temple tomorrow."
Oh no.
So bad.
There it is.
It's like, oh my goodness. And then, seeing him in the background in the throne, in the council chamber when Anakin comes up, like he's hiding behind a chair or something.
Yeah.
And people are like, how did we miss this? And they circle it, put the arrow on, and I'm like, I know that's photoshopped.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
One of those got me the other day.
Oh, did it?
Photoshopped Jar Jar Binks in the back of Rogue One.
Really?
At some point, yeah. And I went back and watched it because I was like,
because you
for
thought
half a second that you see it, I'm like, it was good enough that I was like, is he back there?
Oh.
But he's not.
He's not actually. He's not
That's
actually.
just mean.
That is super mean.
But yeah, no, very intrigued at more of his backstory.
Yeah. She says someone took him.
Someone got him out of the
We
temple.
don't know if it was a Jedi who helped him escape. If there were Jedi who actually took younglings out.
It's possible.
If there's a whole class of younglings that
we've
escaped.
got, I just forgot his name. Gunji. That Wookiee.
Yeah.
It's like
we
didn't see him in the throne room. It's like, and it kind of breaks my heart to find out that Anakin killed a young Wookiee Jedi.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I'm not okay with that. So I'm okay with him being taken out too. Oh, and even all the other younglings that we met in the Clone Wars. I'm okay with them being taken out because
not Gunji though.
Yeah.
You're okay with all them being taken out?
Well, being taken out of the temple. Like saved.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not taken out like.
Oh, sorry.
But rescued.
Rescued. Okay.
Yeah, because we know them. We met them. We had a few episodes that and it was like, oh, I knew them. Whereas the other ones, it was definitely sad. Don't get me wrong. It was sad that the kids died, but we didn't have much of a connection with them.
All right. Here's my deep dark secret that I secretly hope gets retconned one day, is that those kids in the council chamber were let go.
It's
now,
very...
they say, because the problem is, how can... I don't understand. How could Anakin slaughter all those kids, and then when his 24-year-old son is getting zapped by Vader, it's like, oh no, this kid I'll save.
Yeah.
In his 20s. You have to go to such a dark place to kill children.
You do.
Now, they say you killed younglings, but they called Ahsoka a youngling.
Yeah.
When she first was introduced to Anakin.
Yeah.
So they're younglings up till they're like 12 or 13.
That's true.
And so
Those
when they
kids
say
were, like,
killing younglings, I picture that it could have been the older kids, like 8 to 12, some of the older classes that could fight back.
Same thing.
But then he goes to the council chamber and ignites his lightsaber, but how can you have the heart to do that?
Yeah. And there are many...
To infants, basically.
Really, like, there are many things that swirl around.
I have a hard time with that.
I've heard that they said he let them go. I've heard that he was going to, but then when the kid called him master...
Yeah,
reminded him that he wasn't...
Which is stupid.
I've heard that he slaughtered them in order to tap into the dark side because he knew he had to go down far enough in order to attain the power to save Padme. And in his mind, like you said, there's not much that's darker than killing kids.
There's not.
And
like that.
Unfortunately, it's
level
possible his mind might have been twisted enough. He's like, this will get me there.
Yeah. No, I know.
But, yeah.
I want my theory to be correct, but I know it makes no sense.
It
doesn't make sense. No, Anakin slaughtered everybody he came across.
He did.
Mercilessly. Which is horrid.
But it's interesting that it's such a, we're so torn by that. Because it's like, take Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
Had he killed kids, I would feel less like, that's not right. Like, it's still not okay, but it's like, because Anakin was a Jedi, you know that there's that conflict. Whereas like Darth Maul was like, Jedi get destroyed. Anything Jedi, he grows up.
Well, he did kill some innocents in that village.
Yes.
To draw out Obi-Wan.
Exactly.
So
it's but
Anakin, it's expected.
It's yeah.
We expect him to be the worst kind of person.
Yeah.
But for Anakin to fall that far, to fall all the way, and then for Luke to be like, "I sense some good in you," it's like, really? Is that though?
I mean, far.
That's kind of where I guess that's kind of where I hope that where that seed of good is, where he never could get there.
Right.
And I think that was the point of Vader. He never could get all the way to that point.
That's true.
And letting those smallest younglings go would have been that seed of hope.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it does make sense.
Maybe
it does make sense.
It is true because we never actually.
We don't see him do it.
See him do it.
Although I heard that was because they said that's a little too much.
That's probably true.
I heard they filmed some of it.
Oh, did they? Oh.
Yes.
And they're like,
and
maybe not.
No, we're not doing
maybe
that.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Nah, we don't need to see that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Leave it up to us to theorize.
So anyway, that's Goku's backstory. Grogu. I cannot get the name right. I saw a thing, Dragon Ball Z. The guy's Goku. And I saw that. I can't unsee it now.
Yeah.
Grogu. I'm gonna write it down here real big. All right. So Ahsoka says that the Jedi Order fell, that he can't be trained by a Jedi. But then Mando says the Empire fell, but it still hunts him.
Yes.
So he's like, yeah, okay, maybe the Jedi Order doesn't exist anymore like it did in the Old Republic, but you're a Jedi.
Yeah.
There are Jedi.
So the Jedi are still existent.
Yeah, just
Jedi
like the Empire
exist.
still exists.
The Jedi don't exist, but Jedi exist.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's semantics, but...
Yeah. I really liked how concerned Mando was with him in this episode.
With Baby Yoda?
With him pacing back and forth while she talked to Grogu.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I'm going to come Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda's
interchangeably.
And that's good.
It's going to take a while.
Transition, because we got to try and transition. But I loved how concerned he was. Because it's like see how far he's come. Which I think we talked about. He's come even more where it's like he is very protective of him.
Extremely.
And even to the point that, like, when she, if we're going to talk about them, when she tests him, just how happy Mando is when he's able to do something.
Oh, I know.
He's so excited. Yeah.
He's like, good job, kid. You did it. And Ahsoka's sitting there and she's just like, yeah, you do it. Well, you try to get him to do it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if part of it is, so there's that desire to want the ball. He wants the metal ball, right? Mm-hmm. It's something he wants for some reason. But then there's also like making your dad proud. Uh-huh. And I think that's part of that attachment that Ahsoka talks about. Oh, I almost yelled at the screen when she said that.
Really?
Yes, because I'm sitting there going, no, Ahsoka, you know better. You know that if Qui-Gon would have won, he would have been a father to Anakin, and he would have built that attachment as a good thing instead of a bad thing. Oh, no, wait, no, Ahsoka doesn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. We do.
Yeah, we do, which makes it frustrating when the people in the movie don't do what I think they should do because I know everything.
I loved it.
Watched 100 years of history in this.
Freaking out, she's talking about Anakin. Oh, she's talking about it right now. And she's like, I know. And I'm like,
I've seen what happened to the best of us.
I've seen what those kind of feelings have done to a fully trained Jedi Knight.
Yeah, I wonder if she, there's no way she knows that Vader turned at the end. The Vader's the one who killed Palpatine. Well, I think the rumor is that Luke went in and killed Vader and Palpatine.
I think that was I
think that's the story that got told. Very few people know what actually happened.
Yeah.
Where Luke went in and whined like a little baby and begged. And then Darth Vader's like, nah, I got this, son. You know what? You said please. That's good manners. I'll do it because you said please. Palpatine never said please. Like when he lifted him over his head, never said please. No, threw him down the shaft, never said please.
Yeah, I mean...
Mind your manners, kids.
Exactly.
Oh, goodness.
That's true, though. She probably never...
Yeah, she has no idea that eventually Anakin did go back to good. And it was attachment that did it. There's depth there that she doesn't know. But that's okay. We know what she's talking about. She's talking about Anakin and the attachment that he had for Padme led him down the path to slaughter younglings.
Exactly.
All right. Mando calling him by name. That was fun.
Yeah.
And he has a hard time too. He still calls him kid.
Yeah, he does. Kid. Because I think she even corrects him sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
Kid, like, Grogu. And he's like, Grogu.
Grogu.
Every time he says it, though, it's like,
Ooh, perks up. Oh, yeah,
That's my name.
Yeah, yes. It's so cute, and that's half of the reason why I'm okay with it. Because part of me inside goes, no, I want Baby Yoda forever. Oh, he's always Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is, and then the people who are like, he's called the child, and we just laugh at those people. And now we gave those people a real name, and now they're gonna be like, his name is Grogu, and it's like, I don't want them to win.
Baby Grogu Yoda.
Baby Groda.
Groda.
I'm glad that it wasn't a derivative name of Yoda or Yaddle or
Yodu.
Yogu. I think that was a smart decision.
I agree.
But it has to be a cute name. Although Go-Gurt's going to rename themselves.
Oh, for sure.
Grogurt.
Grogurts.
Grogut. Yeah.
That's a good point.
But it's all merchandising. It's Star Wars. We're used to
And
that.
are we going to buy them? Yes, I will.
Am I a person? Am I a human?
Star Wars comes up and it's
Do I have a heart?
Take my money.
Yes, I do. I do like when Mando's like, when she says maybe he'll listen to you. That'd be a first. It's like, yes, but he does. He does.
It's like we just had the beginning of this episode that he wouldn't get in his seat when you told him to.
Not the first time, but the second time
That
he
is
did.
true. That is true.
Kids never do anything on the first time.
Well, there's another episode where we talk about that he wouldn't listen to him at all. He kept telling him not to do something, and he kept doing it, which we'll discuss. But it was really funny. It was very dad of him. He was like, no.
Oh my gosh, I love the first season when with the switch.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's
every kid. Don't touch that, and like you said, he's looking right at Mando.
While he reaches,
While
like,
he reaches
what
to touch
you
it.
gonna do?
Uh-huh.
It's like it's more curious. Like he said no, but what will happen if
What will
I
happen
do?
if I do? Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It's awesome.
So Mando isn't super confident about it, but in the end, the kid does take the ball.
It does.
Ahsoka says she can't train him, and then she says better to let his abilities fade. That floored me.
Yeah.
What do you mean let fade?
Yeah.
It's very useful. The healing and the moving and the mud horn and
she's worried about him, I would think.
Yeah.
Because he said that he is being hunted. Yeah. The more you allow your ability to fade, the less you may be able to be sensed.
That's true.
It'll keep him safe.
If anybody can sense him.
That's true.
That's
true. I guess you really.
That's not how they're hunting him, I don't think. Unless those little tracker things are M count trackers.
Could be.
Say midichlorians, you cowards.
Yeah. No, they saw what happened last time they said that. It's just the M word now.
No, it's just the M word. That's so funny.
But yeah, I think it's to keep him safe. Because Force users haven't had the best luck recently.
No, they haven't. Things don't go very well for them.
No, and so she's maybe worried about that.
But Mando tells her, "Hey, if you'll make sure he gets trained properly, I'll help you with your magistrate problem."
Yes,
because I was sent to kill you. And at first I'm like, are you really threatening to kill her now?
Yeah, that's not really gonna happen.
It's like, I didn't make any promises.
Yeah.
But this is obviously a problem for you, so I'm willing to help.
Yeah, you can help me, or...
Hey, I kill people to get what I want.
Yeah.
Do you want me to kill people for you?
Oh,
so you can give me what I want?
That way you stay Jedi and I'm still Mandalorian.
And now this is the part where Ahsoka realizes that by using him, she can protect the villagers and take out the army, which she could always do.
She does ask. She says, "Did you see any prisoners?" He's like, "Yes, they're outside."
Oh, that's true.
And she's like, "I cannot I cannot stop them and save the prisoners by myself."
Yep. And so they come up with a plan, and he says, "A Jedi and a Mandalorian, they'll never see it coming." And especially because Mandalorians and Jedi were these ancient enemies, as the magistrate said. And so she never would expect that.
Exactly.
What she does expect is the Mandalorian to get slaughtered.
Yes.
And so when Ahsoka comes back and throws the
He failed.
pauldron down, it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we all knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
There was never any hiding it.
Yeah.
I was curious to see when he was going to show up. And it made sense that it was when the villagers became threatened. That's when he finally came in. Did you like her coming in and slicing those guys? And the big gong getting sliced in half?
That was so cool.
Oh, man.
It just
went
dropped.
through like butter.
Yeah, it did. Which, I gotta say, that was one of the issues that I had with her.
Okay.
Were her lightsabers.
Really?
I don't know. They were just not quite what I wanted. I mean, when I compared them to other lightsabers from the movies, they seemed more fake, I think.
Really? Okay.
When I looked at them, yeah, they seemed more Ultra Saber looking.
Yeah.
Less lightsaber looking, which, I mean, it's fine, but...
There is a reason for that. It's because they're actually using basically Ultra Sabers.
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
They're probably much cheaper.
Yeah. Well, I think they custom make their own.
Yeah.
So that they can get the activation properly.
Right.
There was actually a moment when she pulls out the sabers behind the guys.
That is her signature lightsaber activate. She lights them, and it's the same stream. She does that multiple times in Rebels.
Ah.
So when she did that, I was like, that's it. That is how Ahsoka Tano activates her lightsaber.
So that helped you overcome it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's interesting. Yeah, so if you watch the prequels, they're so fast with the lightsabers. Mm-hmm. And then the sequels, they're not nearly as quick.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is because in the prequels, they were still using completely digital blades.
Right.
And having to add the lights later. But in the sequels, they were actually using ignitable blades that had LEDs and stuff that would light up. And that's why they love doing a lot of the shots in darkness or in adverse weather conditions.
Right.
Is because they can get those shadows now because they actually have the light bouncing off stuff.
Interesting.
So the darkness, when she's going around at the beginning and being able to turn them on and off, you're getting actual light coming from the blades.
That's cool.
Which helps with their effects and helps them look a lot more integrated into the environment. But then there are two things that happen. You get this Ultra Saber fake look that you're talking about. They're also much heavier.
Yeah.
So
the blades did look very thick.
And the blades are supposed to be nothing.
Right.
They're supposed to be weightless.
Yeah.
And when they went to these actually glowing blades, it's like, oh man, you guys got to figure out a way to thin those up or make them more lightweight because it's not coming across the way you think it should.
Yeah, which I know in the beginning in Star Wars Episode 4, when I read George Lucas actually wanted to give the lightsabers a feel like they were heavy.
Oh yeah.
That's why Obi-Wan and Darth Vader's fight is so slow.
It's more
because the blades are heavy. It's hard to move them. And then with the prequels, he's like, maybe we can make them go fast.
Yeah.
Then that's why
and that was
so
amazing.
Much faster. Yeah. But that's why it's so slow. And they even talk about it in Rebels also that the lightsabers actually have a pull to each other. That's why when they hit, they
don't
stick.
Slide nearly as much.
Because they have an attraction.
Obi-Wan's able to do that with Grievous.
Yes.
But I think that's partially because he's forcing the sabers to do things they're not normally meant to do.
Right.
And so the gyroscopes are getting off. And so Obi-Wan's able to slide it down on those gyroscopic jumps.
Yeah.
Instead of them moving with it.
Exactly.
Like a Jedi would.
So
same with Beskar. I think it sticks. I think they stick to Beskar a little bit too.
Well, I think when we see in the fight, it does stick a little bit. It doesn't bounce off like you would think.
Like you would think, you can't just slide up and down.
No.
And that's why Kylo's crossguard isn't necessarily really a crossguard. They're exhaust vents for the unstable crystal. So yes. So, I was sitting there thinking the exact same thing.
And it sold me when she activated the lightsabers as Ahsoka Tano does. I was like, okay, this is legit.
Alrighty. Her head tails are different
They're shorter.
Rebels. Yeah,
much
they're
shorter.
a lot shorter.
Which there was a video I haven't watched.
I can get
why,
that,
but
it's so hard to move.
oh, I'm sure.
Those things
and
are huge.
That was also one of the things I was like, they looked kind of styrofoamy, but it's like, how do you make cartoon,
head tails?
How do you make that look real? It's incredibly complicated. So I'm like, I'm not going to critique that because how they did it there was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good, and I also realized that that's what Shakti's looked like.
Yeah.
In the actual movies, they looked like that. They had the little creases in them and stuff, and even like the Leku from the Twi'leks, their head tails.
That's true.
Wow, I just went full nerd for a second.
You did.
I called them Leku.
You did. And I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Did you?
And
oh my gosh!
Like, what is that?
So on the Twi'leks, they're the two tail-headed ones for everybody at home, and their head tails are called Lekus. And or Leku, that's probably plural. And so I just totally full nerd mode.
You did.
Anyway, but yeah, that's what they look like. They look like they're big foam things in skin sacks in little things. So it makes sense that they would look that way, that they would act that way, and they would try to make them smaller so they're not dangling or flying around all over the place while she's running around. You make them too long, they'll move no matter what.
Yeah.
So I get that, and like I said, I just had to disconnect that from the cartoons and just be like, okay, this is live action Ahsoka.
Yep. She's different, but she's
still
awesome.
the same.
Yeah.
The fight between her and the magistrate was pretty cool.
I did like it.
It wasn't bad.
It was.
She did a couple little flips in there.
Yes.
My understanding is they got the stunt double for Ahsoka that did the motion capture for season 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they brought her back.
Well, she's
and
the
had her
one to
be
do
the
it.
stunt double for the fight scenes.
She's the one to do it.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was
She
so
was
good.
amazing.
That was so amazing. I don't know who did the stunt double for the magistrate, but I heard it was somebody really good.
Yeah.
The magistrate was pretty good with that spear.
She was.
It was actually pretty good, and I wonder if that spear is going to be the one that fights Moff Gideon.
That's what
That's going to be Mando
when
and
it
Moff
finished,
Gideon.
I said, well, I'm pretty sure he's not making a saber out of a crate dragon pearl now.
I'm sorry.
He's going to use
that was a
that.
cool idea.
It was cool, and I was like, but I can deal with this.
Yep,
This
but
is
that's
fine.
not what it is. That's okay. That's all right.
The moment that really came into play, and we found out it was lightsaber brew. Like, well, that's what's going against the dark saber.
Yep, 100%. Did you like Mando and the right hand man, Kyle Reese, out there listening to the
funny.
battle?
Yeah,
that was so cool.
so funny.
It's
so
like,
cool.
all right, well, I guess we'll wait here to see who wins.
Yeah, because he's like, he even says, to Mando, he's like, we both know we're both people who are willing to die for the right thing. This is not it. He's like, so I'm gonna wait because it's not worth it.
Not worth it if
At
I
this
lose.
point, yeah.
Not worth it if my side loses.
Exactly.
And then when they hear the clang of the spear,
and I was like, you won.
All right. And I'm like, oh, he's actually a smart dude.
Who do you think?
And then he tries to draw on him. I'm like, oh,
that
you
was
stupid
a dumb
idiot.
thing. Dumb move.
The dude's wearing full Beskar armor.
You'd think he would
At
know.
that range, Beskar holds up.
Beskar is, resistant to lightsabers. It's like, and you're pulling out this little blaster.
Yeah.
What?
Not your big cannon
No.
blaster thing. Ugh.
Where do you think that you were? Even if you got a shot off, he's covered in all of the parts that will kill him. The worst that you're going to do is weaken him, and then
slightly, and then it's over.
So, just
give up.
What did you think of the droids? The assassin droids.
They were interesting. Are they HK droids?
They are.
Okay. Is it like HK-47?
It's not. It is. It's not an HK-47.
Right.
I should have remembered what it's called. I want to say it was
HK.
HK.
Right.
It's HK something.
It's but it is an HK droid.
But again, that's a callback to Knights of the Old Republic.
This I did know because HK-47 is in the Galaxy of Heroes mobile game.
Yes.
And he was awesome, and I never did get him.
He is. He's awesome. So when they did that, I was like, I know what HKs are. Those are assassin droids.
Yep. They were cool. They were definitely not the formidable enemy that I thought they were going to be. But then again, it was Ahsoka, and she's pretty good with droids.
That's true. I mean, that one was pretty sprightly, getting up onto the roof.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
To watch them move around, and they got the robotic movements down really well. I was really happy with that.
Yeah.
During the last fight with Mando and the guy on the draw, all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh yay, we're all happy now!" The new magistrate guy comes out of his hut and they're talking, and the whole time we're sitting there going, "What about the other droid?
We know he's
the other
there.
droid is there. The other droid is there. What about the other droid?" And then sure enough, the guy goes, "Look out!" And I'm like, "Oh no, he's gonna kill that nice guy." And then Mando's just like, "Bam!" Boom, falls to the ground. I'm like, "Oh, that was easy."
I was actually kind of disappointed because again, I wanted to see, okay, how good are these assassin droids?
Right? Yeah.
I was like, I already know that Mando is amazing. I know that he
That's
can
true.
do it. And it's like, I would love to see, okay, can these
I wanna
things
see how
actually
scary
hold
these
up?
things are. Or have that droid fight the new magistrate guy.
True.
Maybe that guy jumps in and pushes Mando out of the way and is able to go and fight and fight this droid, and then Mando helps him take it out. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Not needed necessarily, and I didn't look at how long this episode was until today. And every time I thought about it, I'm like, it's probably like 35, maybe 40 minutes. It's fine. It's like, no, it's like 50 minutes.
Wow.
It's a long episode.
They probably like, we just don't have time.
Do we have another 5 minutes to spend? Like, no.
Well, we may see. There's another episode that kind of teases at the end. Did we talk about that one? I don't know.
Yeah.
If we did. Did we talk about it?
Yeah. We only have one episode, or well, after today.
Oh, we did.
2
That's
episodes.
right.
Yeah.
Those may be assassin droids.
Yes, they might be. That's actually what I thought. I thought when the first time we saw them in the courtyard when she was standing there, because that's the first time I noticed them, I said, "Oh my goodness, I wonder if that's."
Is that what Moff Gideon has?
Yeah, I wonder if that's the same kind of droid.
It's possible.
It's possible. It may be a similar droid.
I would love for it to be an HK droid.
Yeah, like a legit HK droid.
I mean, if they said HK-47, I would hope that they bring back whoever did the voice.
Yeah.
Because HK-47 in the game he's hilarious because he calls everyone meatbags except for your master, and he always starts with whatever he's going to say. He starts with what it is. So he'll say inquiry, and then says his question, statement, and then says his statement. So
oh my gosh.
If that's the case, I would love that because it would just be like statement, and then he says something. It's like that's exactly how he would say it.
It would have been fun to hear those good droids talking if they talked like him. That would have been fun.
That would have been awesome.
I wouldn't have gotten it at the time, but I would have gotten it when I talked to you.
I'd have geeked out.
Oh, speaking of yelling at the screen, when Mando and Ahsoka are trying to get him to move the rocks, I was yelling at the screen, "Pull the little ball out! Pull out the metal ball! Come
I didn't
on!"
even think about that.
The whole time.
Oh,
like,
man.
she moves the rock over and he just drops it. I'm like, "Pull out the metal ball." And then she's like, "Mando, come over and do it." I'm like, "Pull out the metal ball." She hands him a rock. I'm like, "No, pull out the metal ball."
Pull out the ball, and then he does.
And then he throws the rock away. I'm like, "Now pull out the ball." He's like, he's not going to listen. I'm like, "Pull out the ball." Okay, finally. Okay.
And you see him, he's like, "Oh, I want that.
Ooh, I want that.
ball."
I want that.
Exactly. I want that.
Oh.
But do you? So Ahsoka obviously wins. She beats.
She beats the magistrate and demands information.
The whereabouts of her master, which it was the build up. It was like, okay, she's got information, and then when she says master, I was like, okay, who's your master? Who is it? I gotta say, to this point, I thought it was Moff Gideon.
Yeah, same here.
I thought she's hunting
100%.
Moff Gideon too.
Yeah, because everybody is.
Yeah,
whether they know it or not.
Yeah, I did not expect her master to be who it was, and I actually thought I flipped out. Like when she's like, "Where is Grandmaster Thrawn?"
Grand Admiral
Thrawn.
She's like, "Whoa."
I lost it. And like my wife is like, "Whoa, like calm down." But I'm like, "No, you don't understand. This is Thrawn we're talking about."
So yeah, Thrawn, probably the scariest Star Wars villain in existence. Not because of how evil he is, but how calculating and impossible to defeat he is.
Yes.
Even in the throes of loss, he would win.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And this now opens up the Dark Empire, the Thrawn trilogy, the original Thrawn trilogy. because when they brought Thrawn into Rebels, I'm like, oh, they're bringing him in before the Empire falls. That's interesting. I guess they're going to erase Thrawn trying to take over the Empire after.
Yeah.
And now here we are 5 years after, and I think this is actually after Jakku as well. My understanding is this could be after Jakku.
Could be. I mean, I'm trying to remember because Jakku happens in Aftermath.
Right.
Which is just after it's right after the end.
Yeah.
I want to say it takes place right after, like maybe a year or two after episode 6. So it would make sense that it's after Jakku.
Okay. And so now there's this opening for Thrawn to return and try to rebuild the Empire in his own image.
Which is amazing.
Which sounds really cool.
What do you think about, in the case of Thrawn, Ezra? Because, I mean, for those who haven't seen Rebels, Ezra and Thrawn, the last time we saw them, they actually hyperspeeded away, and we didn't see him again.
Into a place that was lovingly called Purgatory.
Exactly. Purgatory.
I could not believe I heard that.
That's funny.
They were hyperspaced away with these hyperspace traveling whales called Purgles into Purgatory until the end of the Empire.
Yes. So
Thrawn could
Ezra
be
back.
Is Ezra back?
Where is he? Is he? I know that
I had my own.
During Rebels, Kanan's biggest fear was Ezra's pull to the dark side. Is it possible? Maybe he went to the dark side. It's possible.
Could Thrawn have connived and convinced him to turn to the dark side? I don't think so, because Kanan's sacrifice was too poignant in Ezra's life.
That's true.
He never did even dabble in the dark side.
That's a good point.
Traveling down that path after
Kanan
was gone.
Is he around, though?
I don't know. If he is, he's been abandoned somewhere. Or Thrawn has been able to make him a prisoner. That would be my guess.
I see.
I don't 100% think it's going to tie together into Mandalorian, though.
It might not. And knowing that there's maybe a possible TV show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, also something to know that I was trying to explain. I was explaining to my wife about this.
Yeah.
To get timeline wise, for the sake of the episodes, we're basically at the height of Luke Skywalker's power.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
He's starting the new Jedi.
Luke is starting the new Jedi Order. Leia, and then they're kind of starting the New Republic. It's in place.
Is Kylo born yet?
I don't know. I know that they got married on Endor.
Close. It's close.
So they're probably pretty close to Kylo being born. Yes, because in Aftermath, she's pregnant with Ben.
Okay, and if this takes place after the Battle of Jakku, then for sure,
Ben
Solo,
he's born.
Is a child now.
So Ben Solo is a child at this point in The Mandalorian. You have Ben Solo as a child. Luke is possibly building the Jedi Temple or looking for the Wayfinder.
Yes.
You saw in episode 9. Him and Lando are possibly right now searching for the Wayfinder.
Right.
So that's, just to kind of help where the Mandalorian's happening right now.
Yeah.
Luke's there, that's all coming together.
On Pisana.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Oh man. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
But Ahsoka now tells Din Djarin that he needs to take baby Yoda, Grogu. To a Jedi temple. And my understanding is this planet is in the core.
I
don't know. The last I heard is somebody said that this planet traditionally is in the core.
Interesting.
Like deep core, like Coruscant level core.
Wow.
And then to put him up on top of the stone on top of the mountain, and if he chooses, he can call out to a Jedi to come and get him. And this is the first indication where Ahsoka says that she can't train him, and it's possible that it's because she's not a Jedi.
Yeah.
This is the one admission that she makes, that she can't train him, but she gives him one option to be trained by a Jedi, because she's still not a Jedi.
No.
I don't even know if she knows that Luke is out there and is a Jedi and is starting the Jedi Academy.
Which would be...
How would
That's
she
hard
know?
because the Death Star was kind of a big thing, and it exploding, everyone knew about that.
Yeah, but the Empire's still around.
It
I mean,
is.
you had the Battle of Jakku that still happened, the hunting down of the Imperial remnants.
There's
a lot.
Does Ahsoka know
Lot of
about the
cleanup.
Death Star at all? Is there anything that...
I
Does she
don't
know
see how
about
she
it?
would not know. She has contacts in the Rebellion.
That's a good point.
There's no way she wouldn't know. Why she wouldn't have helped at Endor, we are not entirely sure.
We assume it was because she was with Sabine looking for Ezra.
No.
No?
We have no idea what happened to her after Malachor. And the duel with Vader. Because she went back through the portal in the World Between Worlds. And then she doesn't come back at all until the end of the series.
That's true.
So it could be that she was stuck on Malachor for a while.
That's possible.
And had to find a way off the planet.
Yeah.
And then had to find her way back to the Rebellion. So it's possible she didn't even meet back with Sabine until after Endor.
That's possible.
So
yeah,
that actually would take her out of the entire
she may not even know
after
about
that.
it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So
Look, I'm answering my own questions.
Who knows what she knows? And we may not know if that's the last we see of her.
Yeah. But it is the last that Mando sees of her for a while, for sure.
Yes.
When she says, "Where is your little friend?" He says, "Wait here, I'll go get him." I could hear it in his voice that it's just like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe I'm saying goodbye to this little guy.
Yeah, and
I just finally learned his name, and
he spent enough time on the ship that Ahsoka comes to find him.
Yeah.
You know, because he's like, "Okay, let's go," and then he's like, it seemed like he's like, "No, let's hang out here for a little bit. It's just..."
Well, it's a long goodbye, and that's why he told her to wait there.
Yeah.
Is then he didn't feel any pressure with her standing there watching him.
Mm-hmm.
But then she comes and says, "I can't take him," and he's like, "Well, you gave me your word." But at the same time, I think Mando's a little relieved.
Yes.
That he doesn't have to let him go yet.
Oh, it's like, how do you say goodbye to that?
Yeah.
They've been through so much together. It's like, how do you...
And they are a clan of two. They work together.
Yeah.
A lot. Oh.
Yeah.
But then she tells him what to do. He takes off, and she watches him take off, and then goes back to the village. And I think she's off on her own now.
Yep.
Which, to be honest, I know Mando has a path ahead of him, but I felt after this episode like I did after Iron Man 3, where the heck do you go from here?
Yeah.
Because in Iron Man 3, he blew up all his suits, he got rid of his arc reactor. I'm like, what? Iron Man's just gone? And then the stinger in Iron Man 3 said Tony Stark will return. And I said, I don't care about Tony Stark.
Yeah. Where's Iron Man?
Iron Man is a part of the Avengers. Tony Stark is a consultant.
Exactly.
I don't want Tony Stark. I want Iron Man.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt a little bit the first time watching this. I'm like, well, now what? Now we're very directionless.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going. I know Moff Gideon's out there somewhere, but we haven't seen or heard from him at all in the last 2 episodes. What's going on? What is he waiting for? He knows where Mando is going. Every time Mando lands his ship somewhere, he knows where he was.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, there are a couple things that I always like talking about. The first one was the Lego set from the episode. Is the very opening. I want the gate. I want the magistrate. I want a droid. You know, the HK droids.
Yeah.
I want one of the little minion guys, maybe a couple of those. I want her little right-hand man, and I want Ahsoka with her lightsaber standing in front of the gate. That's what I want. I can see it in my head. You got the gate. You got a couple little sections of wall. You got them up on top of the wall. A little mechanism that opens and closes the gate. Jaren! You're being really noisy, bud. Good night. Oh, that's what raising kids is all about, right?
It really is, right there.
But instead of raising kids, I want to put the kids down. Good night.
Carter's crying like crazy.
Okay. All right. No problem. Thanks, man. That's the Lego set I want. I want the gate and the wall, and I can picture in my head. It's really small until I start adding minifigures. Like what we have Ahsoka. We have the magistrate with her spear. Then her right-hand man. Yeah, and then the droids, and then a couple of the minion dudes and the gong. Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Well, I just took this from a $20 set, $25 set to a $50 set.
Yeah.
And 3 minifigures or less.
Yep.
Oh. But anyway, other than that, is there anything else you want to talk about? The dark side perspective in this one. There is a dark side.
There is definitely a dark side perspective.
What is the magistrate doing on this planet? On Corvus.
Again, it's
She's still manufacturing, they said.
Yeah.
She's still manufacturing, but who is she? Is it for Thrawn? Is he building something?
Because she is his master.
Yeah.
Ahsoka obviously knows to get to him, she had to go through the magistrate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe it was, what is she building? Is it something to just make it so that something doesn't happen to people how it happened to her? It's in her mind, this will stop worlds from being destroyed because it's order, because Thrawn definitely has a plan.
He does, and she's very confident in that plan.
Yes.
And she tries to leverage the citizens against the Jedi. And this comes from her backstory of losing her entire people. So, I mean, she's kind of adopted that every sacrifice is worth it.
Yeah.
Every sacrifice of every life is worth it. Yeah. Like, life doesn't have value.
Yeah. Which
we always suspected that was the Empire's motto with the whole TIE fighter debacle.
Really? Your life doesn't have value.
No.
Yeah. Do you think Ahsoka killed her?
Ooh. There are 3 options. Number 1, she kills her. Number 2, she lets her live but puts her in the cage. Mm-hmm. Number 3, she lets her live and keeps her a prisoner somewhere.
I would think that one. I just... Yeah, Ahsoka.
The other ones are a little
guards. Dark. Yeah, it just doesn't seem in Ahsoka's character to just kill her.
No, it doesn't. And if she had done something to force Ahsoka to kill her, like if she had a hidden blade or something, we would have seen that happen.
Yeah.
They would have showed that, because that would have been needed. We would have needed to know that Ahsoka didn't get it or the information she wanted.
Yes.
But the way they leave it...
To this point, she might have gotten it. She might not have.
I feel like she got something.
Yeah.
Maybe not an exact location, but possibly a contact, a way to contact. Yeah. She can also mind trick her to try to get it.
And she may be using her for that, to lure out Thrawn.
That's true, too. Although now we know Gideon also is going to be aware of what's going on there. The Empire fell on that planet. And maybe he wants to take over from Thrawn.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
Maybe they're working together.
I'm way deep in speculation now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now,
maybe Gideon is Thrawn. No.
That would be terrible.
That would be.
That wouldn't be cool at all. Or when she said, "Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?" maybe she said, "Grand Admiral Thrawn is dead. You'll never find him." It's like, well, then who are you working for? And he's like, Moff Gideon. Like, I see what you did there. Okay. But I would like if she was still looking for Thrawn, and I'm okay for her to be gone.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but...
Yeah, I want to see Thrawn.
Yeah? You want to see live-action Thrawn? I think that'd be fun. I think if Din Djarin is able to take out Moff Gideon this season... Maybe
Thrawn is the next.
Maybe Gideon answered to Thrawn to some degree.
Yeah.
Maybe Thrawn is what's trying to pull the Empire back together. It makes sense. Thrawn has those tendril-like abilities to manipulate and to
How would you like to
organize.
See his TIE fighter?
The Defender?
Yeah, his...
his project?
Introduce his project.
I would be totally fine with that as long as I get a Lego set.
Is that maybe that's what she's manufacturing?
Ooh.
His
fancy.
His TIE fighter.
Doing a TIE Defender program.
Yeah.
Getting the raw materials for that. Now there's a question too. We know she burned down the forest.
Yeah.
Pretty sure she burned down the forest. I thought of 2 reasons why she did it. Number 1 is just to strip it so that she can get to the raw resources without having to deforest everything as they go. The other one was to find Ahsoka.
That's true.
It reminds me of The Dark Knight
Mm-hmm.
when Michael Caine tells that story.
Like, how did you find the bandit? We burned down the forest.
Yeah.
Or did you capture the bandit? Yes.
Yeah, we did.
How? Burned
Down
down
the forest. Burned it all down. That was the only way to find it.
To get her out.
But it makes more sense. It's probably just what she does. It's probably a demoralization. It's
You have nothing now.
yeah. It's like everything is mine. I burned down your forest. No creatures can bother us.
Yeah.
And we'll have access to the raw materials when I decide that we want them.
Because it didn't really show it like a factory or anything. It was just
No,
kind of a
everything
small
was
town.
in the city. Well, the city's actually pretty big when you see the wide shots, but
That's true.
we are making this on a soundstage.
True.
So, like,
But
somebody
there's no
else made that
factory.
point.
There's no,
There were smokestacks in the back.
Were there?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what.
So the city's probably bigger. I think, you have the main gate, you have the inner gate with the dictatorial palace. But then the city is much bigger than that, but you have all the key players there. You have the
Right.
former magistrate who is reinstated at the end.
Yeah.
He is a cool guy too.
He was.
I liked him.
He was cool. I liked him too.
He ran out to help save the villagers before Mando even came back.
Yep.
He was already on his way out to do that, and he had no weapons or anything. I'm
No.
like, what are you gonna do, dude?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, he's
But-
and Mando recognized that,
Mhm.
which was good.
So I could see maybe that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
Demoralization, or maybe she's using the minerals to build something.
Yeah, they definitely weren't mining that area yet, but it definitely is demoralizing to lose your home. If they were to burn the forests around here in Utah, I'd be like, wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
Somebody were to come in, just burn them down. It's like, dang.
We're in charge now.
Yeah.
So
It would definitely demoralize.
I mean, I guess the only thing I would end on is that we know Ahsoka gives Mando the Beskar spear. It's good to remember that he has that weapon.
He's getting loaded up with Beskar. He is. Boba Fett's armor. He's got his own full cuirass. He's got the spear now.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a nice assemblage of Beskar.
Yep. Is he gonna build Mandalorian armor for
Grogu
out of Boba Fett's armor?
I'm nerding out, and also that's blasphemy.
That would be awesome.
I would love Grogu Fett.
Grogu Fett. Grogu Jaren.
Grogu Jaren. No, gosh. Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's pretty good. So.
yeah.
All right. Well, you want to send us out?
Oh yes.
I think we're pretty good.
Yep.
So.
That is it for us for this one. And remember that if you're having trouble raising your nerds, this is the way. Until next time.